What advice do you have for people that may be going through similar situations with their parents or family members that you had? So like we'll start with your dad in watching somebody that you love decline like that in front of you.
Yeah, it sucks. So if you are overwhelmed or exhausted, I fully validate your experience because it sucks. Hopefully, most people won't watch their person die for over a decade. Hopefully.
Yeah.
If you do, I was going to say, text me. I'm not going to give my phone number. If you do, DM me. Let's discuss our very unique experience. However, a lot more people will watch the physical deterioration of a loved one at some point. I would say give yourself a lot of grace. It is really uncomfortable. It does feel unnatural. I think there's so many people on podcasts that have like the perfect advice. I don't.
Yeah.
The advice I do have is take care of yourself. Book something on your calendar every week that can be a small moment of grace for you. Whether that is a scheduled walk, whether that is a call with a friend, and I don't even care if that friend has been through loss, just the fact that you have that outlet to look forward to, whether that is a massage, whether that is a workout, whatever that looks like. I was talking to my therapist about the benefits of putting things on your calendar in advance, because not only are you getting the benefits on that day, but knowing it's coming in a week or in a month, knowing you put something on your calendar like February 2nd, I am going for a hike or I'm getting a facial in honor of the distress that is upon me, I think is very, very valuable.
I'm going to negate what you just said when you're like, I don't have any good advice. That was fabulous advice. You are lying. That was great advice.
Okay, thank you. I love that. Okay, well, I'm so bad at like accepting any form of praise. I'm like, what? Okay, thank you. Another tool I'm a huge fan of is the voice memo. Now, let me tell you why. With these uncomfortable topics, such as grief, it does benefit us to communicate with humans. So yes, please get a therapist. And yet I understand that's not for everyone, or some people won't, or some people can't, but I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I actually did find a fantastic online virtual therapist the past year. Again, if you have the means to go in person and that works out for you, great. Like, let's not deny that that's great. But I literally saw a woman for over a year during the pandemic online and benefited tremendously. Isn't that
amazing? Amazing.
And especially I learned that with her, I actually in some ways benefited even more because I didn't miss weeks. Whereas in person, sometimes you have to miss weeks. I mean,
right. With your traveling and all the gigs and stuff that you're doing, the virtual is probably perfect. Yeah.
Yes. And even from coordinating with me, like how many times I've had to have scheduling issues because of the I've been going for shows and this last film shoot. So it's like, well, shit, like
me too. Oh my God. The one where I interviewed for you on your podcast, I had like just broken my ankle. And I think I was like 15 minutes late to that because I had my first PT appointment. And then the second one, I was hospitalized with like the worst food poisoning of my life. I did think about that last night. I was like, oh dear God, I hope I stay healthy for this interview tomorrow because she's going to think I'm lying to her.
Oh my gosh. So my advice for grief, voice memos. The reason I'm such a fan is because it's really important to continue to get it out. Like there's just so much you're sitting on and then you just keep processing all of this. You're just overwhelmed with all of your feelings, right? So you need to get it out. So which is why confiding in friends is also a huge opportunity, or other family members or people in your community. Of course, phone calls are great. In person is great, blah, blah, blah. But when people are busy, sometimes someone might not be able to answer right then and there. So I'm obsessed with voice memos, not just in relation to grief, but in relation to all of my problems at this point. You can just voice memo a good friend right then and there. Blah, 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 blah. This is what I'm feeling. I'm overwhelmed because of this, blah, blah, blah. If it's your mom's diagnosis, my mom received this news from the doctor. I'm so overwhelmed, blah, blah, blah. That friend can then respond in a voice memo, probably same day or the next day. And you don't have to coordinate the scheduling and the calls. When can you talk? Can you talk at 4? Try me. Okay. In work, on Zoom, try me, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, you can get it out right away. I think it's such a good tool. And then people can respond on their own time, but still quickly. Like sometimes you play phone tag with people for a week. You know
gosh. Yeah. That is so smart. I also think there's so much power in letting something physically out. Like
Yes.
there are so many times where I start talking about something in therapy and I realize that like just through the process of talking, I'm like unraveling the ball of yarn as I go. Like she's not even saying anything. Like I don't even give her an opportunity to talk because I'm like, oh, and then, oh, and then, oh, like you just go down that own rabbit hole. Like when you let it come out of your brain and you physically put it into the air, it is really fascinating how much it can unfold.
A
So the
hundred
voice
percent.
memo.
Even just the industry that I'm in is just competitive and it's overwhelming and it's last minute and I need to vent about stuff. And I'm sure people listening who also have demanding jobs and whatever that looks like can relate when you just have so much going on. Plus a lot of jobs that are fully virtual, partially virtual, you're just not with humans as much. So I voice memo people almost every single day. Like, here's what's going on today. Here's the problem. Here's what I'm thinking. Like, can you get back to me? Can you not? I don't know. Either way, I just needed to like get this out. And it's a wonderful tool. So if you are experiencing anticipatory grief or grief itself and you need to get it out, send a voice memo to a friend. And I don't care if you've never voice memo them before. No time like the present.
Yeah.
They can call you back if they want to do it that way, but at least you got it out at the time that you needed to get it out. So
Yes.
voice memo.
Great advice from the girl who thinks that she doesn't have any advice. Thank you.
Love. Well, you know what I mean? I just feel like people are like, okay, this is what
Yeah,
you
no, there's no magic bullet, right?
Right.
There's no one size fits all. There's no magic bullet. There's no something that's going to work for everybody, or it sounds like it's so simple. This can't possibly be the thing to fix everything. But like the best thing for advice is just like the littlest things that are actually feel attainable that you can do and that you can implement in your life. And all the things that you said are just that. So thank you for sharing that with everybody here.
100%.